Est-ce que vous allez pouvoir vous le pardonner si toutes ces personnes meurent?
Hey guys, it's your girl Ope and welcome to the All Shows Nigerian channel where I review Nollywood movies, series and reality TV shows. Today I'll be reviewing one of the latest Netflix Nollywood movies. Yes, you heard me well, Netflix Nollywood movies. I want to believe that they learned their lesson with the past stunts or the previous stunts that they tried to do with the whole, limiting Nigerian movies to just Africa alone. Like, that was dumb in my opinion, because at the end of the day, like I said in my previous video, majority of their subscribers and their viewers are Nigerians in diaspora. So it just didn't make sense, like a good marketing strategy or um growth strategy for them to do that, because at the end of the day that would have made them lose money. But I'm glad that they've come to their senses and they have made this movie available to us. I was having my fingers literally crossed, hoping that they would make it available for us outside of Nigeria, outside of Africa. So I'm really happy that that happened. So I'll be reviewing the movie HIJACK 93. This movie was very interesting. I definitely have a lot to say, and if you definitely would love to hear that, please don't forget to like this video, comment on the comment section on your thoughts as well, and don't forget to subscribe. We are finally on 400. We finally hit 400 subscribers. I am beyond excited. I really appreciate you guys. I always appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be here if not for you guys. I didn't even think we'll make it past 100, and to see that we are at 400 now in less than a year and a half is crazy to me, because I think we started last year May, and it's just really interesting to see how far we've come, so I really appreciate you guys. Please, I apologize for my background. The sun in my room decided to had ulterior motives today, so I have to succumb to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video regardless, and yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this review. So this movie is inspired by true events of the 1993 airline hijacking from Lagos, and it's about an airborne hostage negotiation gone awry when demands aren't met in time. For the cast, the main cast for this movie were Alison Precious Emmanuel, Adam Garba, Nnamdi Agbo, Oluwaseyi Akinsola, Sam Dede, Sharon Oja, Nancy Isime, John Dumelo, Jemima Osunde, Efa Iwara, and Bob Manuel, and many others. First of all, I would like to say that this movie touched on a very, important topic in our society, basically about the rigged and flawed system of the government of Nigeria and the complexities on how it was tied to, the real purpose behind the hijack in this movie, and how it drove this particular group of people or group of men or group of boys into taking matters into their own hands. I think that this was a unique and interesting approach to this story, but then again, Nollywood is good at having really good and creative ideas, but then somewhere along the way watering down the execution and ultimately ending up delivering low average quality work. The soundtrack for this movie was really awesome and refreshing. It was a blend of Fuji, jazz, and Fela-inspired beats and sounds, and it was very refreshing to listen to and definitely added some depth and creativity to this movie, especially the era of time in Nigeria that they were trying to portray. I also like the aerial scenes and the fact that we actually saw the plane in the sky, and we also saw a real plane. We had multiple scenes, with this plane and the surroundings of this plane being shown, and not just a low budget green screen. So that was really nice, and I definitely give them a thumbs up for that. The actors did a really good job in my opinion. Even though this movie was very star-studded, I love that the main characters were fresh and upcoming actors in the industry, and everyone did what I'm guessing they were supposed to do and were pretty convincing in their roles. It wasn't an underwhelming performance, but at the same time it wasn't an outstanding one either. It was just enough for the plot, I guess. I also like that we got backstories on the terrorists and how they turned out to be what they were. It was really sad to see, because that's the sad reality or the harsh reality of our country. People living in abstract poverty, desperation, economic hardship, and oppression, driving them to do crazy things like these guys did. And that just happened to be the case for these guys, like I said. Their different sad circumstances due to the state of the country are what ultimately drove them to go into the wrong path and lead them to become involved in what they did, which in actual fact, whether they fully understood or grasped what they were doing, was indeed terrorism, regardless of the good intentions or thought process behind it. There were some scenes that I really liked and feel at least some level of creativity and originality was implemented. Like for instance, the poisoning of the ambassador's son in order to get him out of the plane. I feel like that was really, really executed well. I didn't expect them to do something like that or even think about doing something like that, which is good because I feel like sometimes when I'm watching Nigerian movies, I have to like have like a low expectation for them. So I feel like they kind of surpassed my expectation for this movie and I really like that. I also liked the plot twist at the end alongside the suspense. I'm not a suspense girl normally. I like, my ending of my movies to be wholesome, but for this one I allowed them that grace and everything. It was really executed well. I'll definitely give them that one because I didn't expect any of that and I actually found it really creative and well executed as well. So thumbs up to them for that. In as much as I had my positives, there were also still some things in this movie that had me so confused I had to keep rewinding a little bit to the back to make sure I didn't miss anything. For instance, what was up with the fidgety movements, and the looking over their shoulders by the terrorists, when they were getting into the plane. In my opinion, that made them stand out even more and look more suspicious, as suspicious travelers. And realistically, it didn't make sense that TSA or anyone didn't notice how fidgety these men were acting and behaving as things progressed. Secondly, was there even a bomb on this plane? I feel like they told us in the beginning that there was a bomb, but how come we never got to see the bomb actually in a location beeping somewhere or something to show that it was really there? That didn't make sense to me and I feel like that would have added more depth and creativity into the movie, and all that. What exactly was the plan after they supposedly landed in Frankfurt? What then would have happened to the passengers? How was their leader so sure that they would hijack this plane successfully? How did he think that how was he so sure that this hijack would be smooth sailing and they would start afresh in a foreign country so easily? Does Frankfurt just allow stray planes just land in their city without asking questions? If that's the case, at this point let me book myself a ticket to Frankfurt and start my new life there because that didn't make sense. There was no explanation as to what would happen to them once they got to Frankfurt. Like no solid plan was given to us in the movie to show okay, this was why they were going to Frankfurt or this was why they were landing in Frankfurt, or if they had like connections in Frankfurt. Like it just didn't make sense. Everybody just kept talking about Frankfurt and like what are they actually going to do in Frankfurt with a big ass plane and passengers on board? And yeah, it just didn't make sense to me. The sorry excuse of a romance storyline between one of the hijackers and the passengers, I'm not even going to get into that. Bottom line, it did not make sense to me. The hijackers asking the hostages to negotiate with them once they found the hijackers asking the hostages to negotiate with them once they found out that the Nigerian government and authorities weren't playing with them, and were using their families to get to them, basically was crazy to me. Talking about who will stand with us, I didn't understand that because you didn't ask the passengers for their insights or for their opinions before you hijacked their plane. But now all of a sudden, when the Nigerian authorities or the Niger authorities are like telling you that okay, we have your own families, held captive and everything, so you have to release these people. Now all of a sudden you're involving these people like, oh, which one of you will stand with us? They have our families and all that. Like, what the hell does that mean? You have them captive also. You did not ask them, you did not involve them in the decision making or have any petition for them to sign to allow you to hijack them. So all of a sudden now they're supposed to feel sympathy or remorse for you and think about your own families. I feel like that just Loki took away from the entire reason why they were doing what they were doing and made them look and sound like the same group of politicians that they were supposedly rebelling or fighting against. So I guess it was also just a lesson, at the end of the day. Yeah. Overall, my final rating for this movie ended up being a 7 out of 10. The movie definitely could have been executed better in terms of paying attention to little details and giving more context in certain scenes, but overall the storyline itself wasn't too bad and I did actually enjoy it. Let me know what you guys thought in this movie. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie, and I would love to see your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and please subscribe to this video as we are on our road to 500 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.